Hi, I'm Melanie from Parenting High Schoolers, and I am here today to talk to you about middle school. Middle school is such a fun time. It's a great time for you and your teen or young preteen to get started on so many things. The learning curve is giant. So, as you all enter into the middle school years, remember that these 3 years, and I think in some cases 2 years, but for in general 3 years, these are years set up with purpose for getting your child from that elementary mindset, from the teacher being with them all day long, to switching classes, to becoming a little bit more independent as they move into their high school career. And there's a lot of things that you can do as a parent and that your child can do as a student, as a middle schooler, to help them be ready for high school. Because high school is a big jump. Now, middle school is a big jump from elementary school, but it is doable. The faculty in a middle school, the administration of a middle school, they are there to help your child transition during these years. And so, as a parent, I always really appreciated the fact that these teachers were so in tune to my kid. Now, it took a while because obviously they have many classes and the kids are switching, but they are there. They're there to help you, help your teen, soon to be teen, to move forward and learn and grow as a child or as a learner, as a person. So, as you guys navigate these years, there's some things to think about. So, middle school is a great time to try new things. So, maybe your child has never tried an instrument. This would be a great time to try because you're not really required to be in a marching band, or they are set up to teach beginning instrument players. Um, we had a son try trumpet in middle school, and he was okay, but they were really helpful. They were so friendly, and they wanted those kids to succeed, and they really broke it into baby steps. And by the time they had their first concert in, I'm thinking November or December, it was amazing what these kids had learned for that concert. It's a great time to try a sport. They don't There's competitions, but it's not like you're going to state. There are things, the coaches are there to help those kids try new things and build up their skill set and to really be able to succeed in a setting that is not such an intense competitive high school type place to be. And that's true of whatever sports are offered at your middle school. So they may not have baseball, but they probably have basketball, and they probably have football, and they probably have volleyball and cheerleading and just different things. So encourage your child to try something new. Um, One other thing that they might want to try is a club. So they might think that this sounds interesting, and so this would be a good time to try to be part of a club and know that wasn't really something that I enjoyed, or I can't wait for this to be a club in high school. It's a great way for your child to sort of start to decide what they like and what they don't like. Start some conversations with your child. Have them be open-ended questions. I'm big about talking with your kid about whatever. But this is a good time to get your child to think about, like, what are they thinking they might want to do when they grow up. A lot of high schools have career centers, and so maybe your child is thinking medicine or some kind of science. They're like, I know our career center has so many classes that they can build up to, like a CNA or an EMT like at the top, but they also have some lab type things. Maybe they're interested in FFA. So there's a lot of classes, both in the district where I teach and like this district where my son is. There are so many classes where the kids can gain real life skills that will carry them forward. The another thing that they should think about is the like business classes. Is business something they might want to look into? Those are some classes that are offered at our career center as well. And my two oldest sons actually took like a marketing, they took advertising, or culinary. So those are all kinds of things that might be fun to start thinking about. So maybe can't do that in middle school, but have them be thinking, because they are going to get to a point where they're going to be registering for classes in high school. And if you've already had some of these conversations, or maybe they do a summer school class, um, trying out one of these things. So by the time they get to high school, they'll go, I don't think I wanted to try culinary. I already did that in the summer and it wasn't that great. But I do like to cook. You know, they can learn the things that they like and they don't like. Another thing that they need to think about is the aptitude test that they'll be given as middle schoolers. Most middle schools will give at least one, if not a couple, of aptitude tests. These are tests that ask them to think about things and how do they view things, how do they solve problems, and the outcome, the result of the test isn't graded, but it's sort of a ranked scale, and it'll, based on their answers, give them ideas for what they might want to be. Now, my oldest son did not take this very seriously, and I can't even remember the types of careers that he was given, but it was so not him. And it was very discouraging because it was sort of a wasted effort. So we really had to talk up the next one. And then for our middle son and then our younger son, we talked about how this was such useful information. So take it seriously, because it really can give you some guidance, you and your child, about what are some things that they might be interested in doing. And even if it's not what they ultimately decide, it's still really good information to have. It might give them their learning style, and that might give them suggestions of how to study, just different things like that. So I guess if we had to go back, one thing that I wish my kids had done, well, at least my two older, I wish we would have started applying for scholarships earlier. I did not know until our oldest son was in high school that you can apply for scholarships as young as 13. There are some places that you can look. I suggest scholarships a lot on, I have some links to scholarships on my blog and in my Facebook page, and I just really encourage you and your child to be looking for scholarships. Even the small $100, $200, $500 scholarships add up. Unless your child is super smart and a 3.5 or above, those tiered packages at colleges aren't going to cover the tuition. They're going to cover a lot of it, but or unless they're going to get 30 plus on the ACT, those tiered packages that the colleges come up with are helpful, but it's not going to be a full ride. So any little bit that your child can do to help when they look for scholarships or apply for scholarships is amazing. So this is a good time for them to start writing a couple of essays. Not anything major. And honestly, once your child has written 2 or 3 essays about 2 or 3 different topics, those can be recycled. They can tweak the point of view, or maybe change a little part of the story, and they can send those same essays with a little bit of work off to different college applications, scholarship applications, job applications. Some people want an essay for that. So don't let them think just once they've written an essay, that's it for that, because they can be used and reused and reused. So this is a lot of information that you may not have thought about for middle school. And the thing about that I mentioned in the beginning is that middle school is 2 or 3 years, and you have lots of time. Your child has lots of time to try things. Lots of time for them to realize that they're on the same page with everyone else that's at school with them. So for instance, when COVID is over and they start going back to dances, say, everyone is going to be in the same boat. So encourage your child to go try these things, to go to that party, to go to that dance. Everyone else is uncomfortable, everyone else is awkward, but when you're all in it together, it's so much more fun. As a middle school teacher, I can guarantee you last year when we were having dances, that it was so fun to see them go and be with their friends, and they clump up in the corners and look at each other, but they do eventually come out of those corners, and they did eventually dance in groups and have a good time and go get snacks together and got that first dance out of the way, so that by the time they get to high school, some of these awkward social situations aren't maybe so awkward anymore. So middle school, again, is a time for trying, a time for experiencing new things and learning how to be a student, studying. How much studying do I need to do? If you have a super smart kid, that doesn't mean they shouldn't study. It might be time for them to try different study skills and ways of approaching things. So, if I had one thing to say as a mom and as a middle school teacher, I would highly encourage your preteen, young teen to really use these years to practice being a better student, a better friend, a better person, so that when you get to high school, the opportunities don't seem so overwhelming. The more you try in middle school, the less everything seems so new in high school. So give me a thumbs up, and I hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Have a good day.